Hello, folks. It is the FSElite podcast, episode 30, FlightSimCon. Calum will be joining me to talk about our reactions to FlightSimCon, and we're going to start that right now. How you doing, Calum?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Just recovering from a really busy week. I mean, we had FlightSimCon, we had the website launch, so and then I had loads of work as well. So, but other than that, happy to be back home and simming and joining you today. How are you?
I'm all right. It's good to have a normal week, as it were. The launch was interesting. I wouldn't say it went, I don't know, well, but we got a couple viewers, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be the case. I mean, launching on FlightSimCon, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best thing to do, but you know what? The site's out there. People are seeing us. What more could we want?
Yeah, exactly, and people are starting to see the articles. I think Dimitri is releasing an editorial today. I know you have one in the backlog. I have one in the backlog that's just waiting for Jordan's approval if he ever gets around to it. So keep an eye on our website, FSElite.net, for more updates as far as that goes. As far as flying goes, I did a 13-and-a-half-hour flight from London to Honolulu. That was interesting. And then today I flew the 757 from Quality Wings from Honolulu to San Francisco. And the Quality Wings 75 actually cooperated with me, so that was a nice change. And then flew the 73 up to Seattle. The only problem I'm having right now, I just updated the Quali engine, or however you pronounce it, and now GSX isn't working again. And I just fixed GSX, so I'm annoyed with that. But moving on, why don't we take a break real quick for the news, then we'll get on to talking about FlightSimCon. And now for the news. ImagineSim has just confirmed that LaGuardia Airport for FSX is now ready and will hopefully be released on Friday, June 24th. We'll update you as soon as we see this released. Pricing has yet to be confirmed, and hopefully some of you are planning to pick it up. Active Sky SP5 has been released. Active Sky Service Pack 5 has been officially released by Hi-Fi and is now available for downloads. For more information, including the full changelog, please visit the link on our website, FSElite.net. And in other news, Aerosoft Madeira Evolution announced. It's been in development for a while, but Aerosoft has revealed all today. This will be the most detailed rendering of Madeira yet. The coverage of both Funchal and Porto Santo, GSX, and SODI will also work perfectly too, and will blend in with the Orbix Global. You can see the full feature list on our website, FSElite.net. And still in other news, authentic Bell 47 soundtrack from Emerald Scenery Design released. Emerald Scenery Design has just released their authentic Bell 47 sound pack for both FSX and Prepared. After being in development for the past few months, this is the first authentic Bell 47 sound pack available for simmers. If you're unsure of the realism, Chris Britton, the developer, has said that these sounds have been recorded on site from both Bell 47 D1 and G2 aircraft, bringing much needed realism to the sim. Full story at FSElite.net. And GoFlight has released the vintage yoke system aimed at the higher end of the market. It is made of metal instead of plastic and has improved clamps for desk connection stability. It is priced at $550 USD. It's way out of my price range, but would any of you out there consider it? Please let us know. Full article, FSElite.net. Now, here's the bigger news of the week. This has gotten all sorts of response on Facebook. Airbus A318, A319, A320, A321 HD Virtual Cockpit released. Aerosoft's Emmanuel Hegden has today released the long-awaited fan project to improve the texture resolution of Aerosoft Airbus series of aircraft. This HD texture set focuses on the virtual cockpit, and by the looks of it, he has done an amazing job. As the texture size has been increased to 2048 pixels, there is additional load on the vast usage of 100 to 150 megabytes in prepared 3D, but with the additional quality, this is to be expected. You can download the A318, A319 set and the A320, A320 set from our website. They are both free to download and use at your own risk, but seeing as he has spent over 150 hours on this project, I think it's fair to say a donation for his hard work wouldn't go unwarranted. There are a few notes to read before you rush and download, and those are available on our website, FSElite.net. In other news, FS Passengers 2016 has been released for FSX and P3D. FlightSim Russia has announced on Twitter that FS Passengers 2016 is now compatible with P3D. No word on if it'll be better able to account for new airplane loading capabilities for the likes of the PMD product and Aerosoft products as well. You can buy it for €29.89 at the FlightSim store. Previous owners should be able to upgrade for free. And iFly has released the 737NG SP 3.2.2. So this happened a little while ago, but iFly has updated their 737NG range to SP 3.2.2. iFly has said that this is the final update for this range of aircraft. In this update, you'll be able to see ACAR's route data and descent forecast wind data. Not even the PMDG 737 can do this yet. There's been some optimization to code, some more frames per second, as well as changes to some fonts, sounds, and aerodynamics. Full list of changes can be found on our website, FSElite.net. And finally this week, Mega Airport Oslo version 2 has been updated. Aerosoft has updated Mega Airport V2 to V1.07. The update has redone, flattened, and mesh polygons to prevent mesh issues and added custom 10 millimeter, I think, to DEM mesh covering the surroundings. You can buy the product at Aerosoft, or you can update via the eShop account. And that's it for the news for this week. Now back to our main topic. That was the nice little news break now. Now let's move on to the main topic of FlightSimCon. Based on what we've seen online, what was your reaction from the show this year, Calum?
I think it's mixed. I think it's fair to say. I mean, we had the guys from Rex, we had the guys from Hi-Fi, and they kind of revealed their stuff before we even got to FSCon, which I guess is kind of a bit of a publicity stunt. But I think once you're that close to such a big event, it's worth just holding out just to keep fans excited. I think A2A did a really good job at kind of teasing us a couple of days before, and then revealing what they've been working on, which I'm really, really excited for. And I think, well, I definitely know this was the busiest FSCon that they've ever had. I haven't actually seen final figures, but I imagine it was in the hundreds compared to last year, which made just a couple of hundred, which I think made a massive impact on kind of the excitement and the buzz that actually happened at FlightSimCon itself. There's also a lot of, I think there was a lot of coverage from people who went, but I don't think the coverage was that good. And I think the reason I say that is because, I don't know, have you heard of E3?
Yes, I have. I went to E3 way back in 2006, actually.
Okay, so you're familiar with the whole kind of the concept of like big press conferences and then it kind of breaks out into little developer sections and stuff like that. And I was kind of expecting FlightSimCon to kind of go into a similar direction, and I think that's what kind of disappointed me a little bit, in the sense that there was very little coverage, live coverage from the people that were there. So I know a couple of news sites had live videos, but the live video quality wasn't amazing, and I know there's technical issues with all that kind of stuff. But I think in general, we all had to kind of wait until like the evening of the conference to actually find out what the hell happened. I mean, there's been nothing from the guys at Quality Wings other than a couple of crappy videos from, and when I say crappy, I just mean like the quality is not direct feed.
Right.
So you can't really get a real sense of what the aircraft's like, other than from what's coming from someone's cell phone, which, as we all know, it can be, the quality can be a bit degraded once you've uploaded to Facebook. You can't really hear the sounds of the aircraft. You can't really get a feel for what it's actually like to fly. So I think I'm disappointed in that aspect, because I just want the information to come out as soon as possible. And even now, I still haven't watched half of the developer panels, because quite frankly, they're just so difficult to find. I mean, I've just YouTubed a couple of them, so I've managed just to watch Frugal's segment, and I've managed to see a little bit of the airplane segment as well. But honestly, it's so difficult to find anything, and I don't get why. I mean, there was loads of people there. There's loads of press teams there to be able to cover the event, but they all seem to wait until like the evening when they're back in their hotel rooms to keep the rest of the fans updated, which I think is the opposite of what FSCon's about. I mean, for me, it's like a couple of thousand miles away, so there's no chance I'm ever going to get there. So the least that these news sites could do for fans like myself is actually cover it in real time, instead of me finding people's Facebook videos and trying to get 30 seconds of footage out of it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of what you said there. There was no news that we could see. We knew it was busier than before. That's good, but no news that we can see until the night of. And I think maybe if we had been there, we might have been able to do better coverage, but we weren't there, so we had to settle with what we had. But I'm thinking, maybe this is another opportunity for the show's organizers. Maybe they could charge, I don't know, $15 or something for an online ticket to the conference, where you could get a feed of the vendors as they're demonstrating their products, and then a feed of all the talks that were given. I'm 2,200 nautical miles away or so. I don't know what that works out to in statute miles, but that's $600 round trip or more. I'm never going to be able to do that without some sort of help from somebody else. So I'm in the same position as you are. I mean, I want to know what's going on in the conference, and I'd happily pay for good coverage of it.
I don't think we have to pay. I think, it's an event that's going on. It's there to keep us, the fans, informed of everything that's happening in the community. And, the developers are there to help promote and to show off their new products. I mean, that alone that should be paying for me to watch something online. I understand having to pay to actually go to the event, because we know it costs the organisers money, but I think coverage next year needs to really step up, otherwise people are going to lose interest, and you're certainly going to see a lot less people, I think, go out hunting for the news. I mean, the information should be given to us. That's the whole point of these sort of conferences.
Yeah. And really, anything that somebody presents at a show, and I hate to pick on Quality Wings, but I'm going to pick on Quality Wings for a minute. If you're announcing something big at the show, you need a press release to go along with it for those that aren't going to be at the show. So at least a site like us can say, okay, Quality Wings is demoing their 787 at the conference. Here's the features that it has right now. Here's what they're working on. they still think it's going to take a while in order to release it. I mean, they could have released a press release like that. We could have taken that, made it a news story, and then we wouldn't have had to go, oh, here's a 30-second cell phone video, and judge it that way. So I agree with you on that point, definitely.
I mean, they've not even said anything since January. Even after the conference, they've still not said, oh, by the way, we've shown it off at the conference, this is what we said, blah, blah, blah. Not even it have to be even a press release. It can just be a quick Facebook status just to say, this is the deal. I mean, I think this is what's frustrating most fans about this whole conference, is because not everyone can be there. Why should the privileged few who manage to go be the only ones privy to the information?
Yeah, and you're. I think we've compared it to E3 several times, and you're right. E3 gets great coverage, especially back when G4 existed here in the U.S. You got coverage every day of the event, and covering all sorts of games and all sorts of content. And I mean, granted, Flight Sim doesn't have its own TV station. It'd be great if it did, but I mean, we have I think 4 or 5 big Flight Sim publishers out there, publishers of Flight Sim news and Flight Sim based content. You would think you would get good coverage from them, and part of this is on us, I think, because we didn't go. And next year, if we go, then, you know, hopefully we'll be able to provide better coverage. We'll be the ones kind of rectifying this complaint. But seeing as we didn't go, we did the best job we could with what we got. So that's just the way it goes, I guess.
I suppose I think everyone can do something a little bit better next year. I don't know if that was just because people weren't going to be aware of how busy it was going to be this year, or if people genuinely just couldn't access the internet from DM. And I know that Wi-Fi access isn't the best out there, but it was obviously good enough to produce a live feed of some description, so it must have been good enough for people to post news articles to keep everyone else updated. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree with you. No big disagreement here. So now, a big question. Do you/we plan to go next year? I
don't know for myself personally, but I'd like to think that members of the FSElite team will probably go. That's if it does happen next year. I don't think it's been confirmed definitely. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I saw a post from FlightSimCon talking about the event next year, so I think it's assumed that it's going to happen again next year.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I imagine it would go on next year. I mean, this year was successful, so I imagine next year is going to be even more of a success for the community. But yeah, I think it would be a really good opportunity for everyone for us to go, and who knows who else we can kind of take with us, or you know, I don't know what the future holds, but I think if we want to kind of be seen in the with the competition and kind of seen as a viable source of information, not just in news, but in terms of like opinion articles and in terms of a community, then yeah, I definitely think we should do our best to go next year. I just think this year was probably a bit too soon.
Yeah.
I think this year it would have been too kind of last minute. But if we do go, I want us to make sure we do it right, so that if there is another podcast out there, they don't have the same complaints about what we should have done, and have the same kind of issues. But again, until we know the reasons behind why certain things weren't done, then I guess we can't really complain too much.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for my part, I will try not to buy so many add-ons that I can't go next year. There's no guarantee of that because, well, there's a lot of add-ons coming out this year. But I will make a concerted effort to go next year. And I think, you know, we as a team, I think somebody will go next year. Somebody will. That would be my guess. But nothing's for certain. So that was kind of a dangerous question that I posed there. But sometimes you have to ask dangerous questions to give dangerous answers. So whose presentation were you most impressed with, Calum?
Like I said earlier, I think I haven't really seen that much, if I'm honest. But from what I have seen, I think I was really impressed with X-Plane, because it's not really been a tool I think I would use primarily, just because I don't see the appeal of it just yet. But I think what they're doing, and the fact that they're constantly pushing boundaries in terms of development, and there's a brand new lighting engine and sound engine coming out, that's actually got me quite excited, and it'll be really good to see how it kind of blends in with products already released for the system. I mean, just from the screenshots alone, I mean, that lighting engine just looks amazing. I don't know how they've managed to do that with add-ons already in, but there's something truly magical about seeing a Cessna reflect the clouds as accurately as the video shown off.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get a chance to watch any of that at all?
I didn't get to watch the X-Plane stuff. All I got to really watch was the Quality Wing stuff, and just kind of drool at that. That was really the only video I've seen from the show. And honestly, that was more than enough for me, because that's, right now, considering considering PMDG didn't make its presence known, considering, FS Labs didn't make their presence known.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by FS Labs. I mean, they're just on the brink of releasing their brand new 7-year development product, and they made no... They just shared nothing at all. I think that's really bizarre. Again, comparing it to E3, if that was like, I don't know, Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, they'd be shouting from the rooftops about their newest game. So I don't understand why developers aren't doing the same.
Yeah, I don't understand either. It's a very good point. Aerosoft didn't really display this year either.
That I'm not so surprised about. I think that was a given, considering Matthias did a really good interview regarding the CRJ, which I know we've talked about in the news and stuff, about its development cycle and everything. But I just feel FS Labs, if they're bringing it out as soon as they say they are, then why weren't they making a fuss over it? I mean, you'd want people to be interested in your products. Why not show it off?
And for that matter, why no, it'll be ready in a couple weeks, and then a month later, no update? What's up with that? I don't know, go ahead.
There's probably still things they're sorting out. I mean, we've waited 7 years. I mean, a couple of weeks isn't going to really kill us, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, but you're right, FS Lab should have been there, and I guess Aerosoft I can kind of understand. I mean, what we got out of it is 2 or 3 months for the CRJ, and that's what we got, so that's the only other end of the news on that one. I know A2A announced that they are working on the Lockheed Constellation, so that's confirmed. As the product that they're working on, and they're saying that should be out at the end of summer. Is that the consensus?
I guess so. Nothing's been confirmed. It's just based on the fact that they said it was nearing beta.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's probably that way inclined. But again, it's just conjecture on my part.
Yeah.
Based on absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and based on what I saw of the Quality Wing 787, I would guess we have 3 to 6 more months left on that. But I'm just conjecturing on that as well. So,
I reckon Quality Wings, must be out at the end of this year.
Yeah, one would think.
I mean, there's the aircraft looked pretty flyable at FlightSimCon.
Yeah, it did.
But then again, it's been looking flyable for a long time, so who knows?
Well, they had the FMS working, I think, from what I saw in the video. So that's most of the project right there, because they had all the other visuals done before. So if the FMS is working, the MCP is working, it's probably just a matter of tuning things up. But we didn't see enough of the video to really know if that's actually where they are or not.
Because some people, Quality Wings, haven't released anything for us. Come on, guys, sort it out. What we want to do is tell people how amazing your product's going to be. yeah, you're so secretive about what's going on.
Very secretive. And you're guessing Active Sky 16 by the end of the summer, that's your estimation?
Yeah, I mean, their website says it's in beta.
Okay.
Or if it's not, it's going to be in beta soon. So I think Active Sky Next, SP5 is probably the last service pack we'll see for Active Sky Next. And that product's been nothing but spectacular. But I'm super excited for this dynamic texturing, because now finally we're going to get clouds that actually match what's going on, and we're going to get sky textures which match the atmospheric conditions, and all that kind of stuff as well, which I think is just everything that I've been waiting for in Flight Sim to really bring the realism up to a new level.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think of the Rex announcement? I don't know how far along that is, but do you think that'll be a contender for Active Sky this time around? Because Rex Essentials Plus, which is what I have now, is not really a contender for Active Sky in this generation anyway. I don't think.
I think, for me, Rex has always been about textures and making the sim look good. I mean, what I loved with what Hi-Fi did, so I think it was Active Sky 2012, and then they added textures in, which for me was a massive waste of time. I never used them. So I had a really good combination of Rex textures with Active Sky Next. But I think, for me, Rex has always been about the textures. It's never been a weather engine that I can use. And I only say this because of the PMDG products not using any other product except for Active Sky for the weather radar.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I did some looking on that. Apparently, Active Sky approached them to say, hey, we've got this technology that would enable you to support a weather radar. Do you want to do it? And they said, sure. So it wasn't a matter of PMDG seeking Active Sky out. It was a matter of Active Sky seeking PMDG out. So Rex just didn't do its thing from the sound of it. So
maybe with their new weather engine, it will hopefully have the same kind of technology that PMDG can use, but I'm hoping their priorities on the 747 right now and not trying to add Rex into their weather engine.
yeah, they'd better be working on that 7.4. I'm dying with anticipation for that. I'm
sure they are. I'm sure they are as well.
I know they are, so there you go. So what kind of products do you think we'll see next year at the convention?
It's hard to say. I mean, hopefully all the stuff we're waiting for this year will be out. I mean, the Aerosoft A330, Matthias said that is hopefully going to be out in December time, which is, I think, what we've all kind of been saying from the very start.
Right.
Hopefully the CRJ will be out September time. So that's kind of Aerosoft covered, unless, of course, they've got some big stuff going on. Oh, they did mention as well that they are... so they've mentioned this a few times now, actually, that they would develop a new Airbus, because their A320 and their A330, they've spent a lot of time developing, so it makes sense for them to just continue to developing Airbus.
Right.
So they said that they'd be interested in looking into the A380 and the A350, and I personally hope they opt for the A380, because I mean that aircraft is just huge. So I think that would be a lot more fun to fly than another twin-engine Airbus. So maybe we'll hear something about that. Probably not, but that's it's really hard to say. I mean, again, it's not like the gaming industry where you kind of know what to expect year on year. Because, I mean, this year we didn't know half of the stuff that was in development. And flight sim developers normally keep things close to the chest until, things are a matter of weeks or months away. Unless, of course, you're a number of developers who I will not mention.
Right. Cough, Quality Wings. Cough.
Cough, FF Labs.
I had to do it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the flight sim industry is definitely different from the game industry. I really have no idea what to expect at FlightSimCon next year. All I can hope is that it's not the same shit that we were promised this year. That's all I can hope for. I hope it's new and exciting, and, you know, I know nothing about it right now, and it'll surprise me. That's what I hope.
I mean, like, we know nothing anyway for next year, because not even the developers know what's going to happen next year. So I don't think it's worth getting too excited over, because there's just nothing to get excited about. I think the only thing we need to really look forward to is just the fact it's happening again. We're probably going to have we're going to have a new sim. We're going to have Dovetail's Flight Sim, the full version, hopefully out by then, and also potentially even prepare 4.0. I think that's the only things we could probably speculate, which probably will come true, and probably X-Plane will be updated to version 11 by then as well, so they can really showcase off all that cool stuff as well. So I think that's my predictions for next year, as it were.
Yeah, those sound like pretty solid predictions. I'm not predicting anything just to stay safe. So what effects do you think this year's show had on the flight sim industry? Did it rejuvenate it a little bit like we thought it did? Or would have?
I think it has. I think it's given people a better insight as to what to expect for the next year. And I think it's helped for people to understand what's coming in the coming months as well, which is always exciting stuff. I mean, we now know of 2 new weather engines coming out. We now know of X-Plane 11 in a bit more detail. We know Quality Wings are still developing the 787. So I think it's kind of given people a bit of faith in some of the products that maybe we haven't heard of for a little while, which is always a good thing for the community. And I think as well, and I think for the people that went in particular, it just helps to gives a new sense of community as well. I mean, a lot of people got speaking to new people. A lot of the fans went and met their favourite developers. So I think it has a real impact on that as well. And maybe it's driven some sales of some of their older products too.
Yeah, I think it's good anytime an industry, especially ours, can have an event like this that's successful. I mean, the fact that people even showed up, much less the fact that hundreds of people showed up, was a very good thing. It means our industry still exists. The fact that some developers, cough, Quality Wings, actually demonstrated that they're working on something, that something exists, is also a good thing. That encourages me to know, okay, they haven't just disappeared, they haven't pulled a level D on us. Things like that, to me, it was just kind of okay, you know, I may have to keep waiting, but at least there's something to look forward to. I know developers are working on something. That was what it meant to me. It also meant that, hey, your community's not dead. You can keep, you know, there's going to be people to listen to your podcast if you keep producing a podcast. That's kind of what it meant to me, honestly. So, good sign in that respect.
Yeah, so completely agree. And I think a kudos should be given really as well to the FlightSimCon organisers, because they've worked their asses off to make this year as big a success as what last year's was as well. And it can't be easy. I mean, organising an event for hundreds and hundreds of people, you know, it's difficult enough trying to organise a website, let alone a big event like that. So really well done to those guys as well.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Nicole and company, and it'd be nice to have her on the show. I actually sent her an email today to see if she wanted to kind of talk about how the show went at some point. Try and get as much mileage as we can out of FlightSimCon, because it's such a big event, I think, for our community. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to bring up about FlightSimCon?
I think being a little bit more over-dramatic would be good, because it'll excite the community a little bit more. I think developers should hold off telling us what their products are going to be days before FlightSimCon. And maybe as well, more people will go. Yeah. Stage your press releases to happen at the convention, and more people will go. I was really excited about what Active Sky were going to be doing.
A2A did it perfectly. Like, they teased something and then they announced it at the show.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They did it the way that I kind of would expect a developer to showcase something off.
Yeah. Alright, well, I think it is time for shoutouts. Calum, do you have any shoutouts?
I want to shout out to Greg. I mean, hopefully you've now seen the new branding of FSElite. I mean, we've got a really cool logo design going on. We've got some awesome branding work happening, and Greg's just been amazing at putting stuff together really quickly, and I think it helps really define us. So just a real thank you to Greg for all of his help over the last couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, the website looks fantastic, so thank you, Greg. I think I'm going to use two shout-outs. One is going out to Nicole and the team over at FlightSimCon. Congratulations on another year done. And the other is for you, Calum, because you are always here and ready to podcast, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Calum.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
Okay, well, let's wrap this thing up. This work is released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International License.
If you have any questions or feedback for the FSElite podcast crew, then please send an email to podcast@fselite.net.
Opening and closing song is Catch Me If You Can by Attica Attica. Find them at bandcamp.com/Attica Attica. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, happy landings. Bye.
Cheerio, chaps.
Calls my name. Then I'll meet Jamie in Kentucky, and I'll see Katie in D.C., and I'll find Mikhail out on the Reeperbahn as soon as I can find my way back across the sea. So catch me if you can. I'm running hard without a compass or a plan. So catch me if you can. I'm on the road. I hear that Brett's still in Seattle. That boy and I can dance all night. And my Portland crew, yeah, we know a thing or two about sipping Jerry, riding bikes and shooting dice. I plan to find Brian in London, but that is gonna have to wait. I'm still in Brooklyn, yeah, I'm scrapping with old friends, and then I'm heading north to see the kids upstate. So catch me if you can. I'm running hard without a compass or a plan. So catch me if you can. With these old friends I've got, I'm at a constant trot just to track them all across the globe. I'd love to stay the week, but my restless feet are already towards the road. I miss my mom and dad in Jersey. I miss my gram in Tampa Bay. I miss Teresa Jeannie's on my labor side, even though it happens damn near every day. I'm heading back to Buenos Aires to meet my sister in the park. We'll spend December in the smiling summer sun, eating empanadas and playing some cards. So catch me if you can. I'm running hard without a compass or a plan. So catch me if you can. I'm on the bus, my hat pulled down with a bottle in my bag. I'm on the boat against the rail with the wind against my back. I'm on the road, the open road, with my thumb outstretched from my hand. So catch me if you can. So catch me if you can. So catch me if you can.
Dun 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 dun.
And my sound effect isn't playing. Again. Alright, screw it. Because I'm like you. I mean, I'm 2,200 nautical miles away from. Okay, Skype's just acting up. I don't know why. That had nothing to do with what I was doing. Is your Wi-Fi okay?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi's fine. I think it's your end.
Okay. Well, soldier on. But moving on, one last question. Is there anything about this year's show other than the news coverage that we didn't cover that you want to bring up?
I don't get the question. Ask me again.